they are trying to tap into the deepest insecurities of young men, make you feel like you're shit, make you feel like you're not good enough, and then they say, okay, buy this program, buy this community, buy this course.
Scott, what's up, dude?
Not much, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Yeah, so this is actually we met like literally probably 2 minutes ago after DMing on Instagram a few times back and forth over the week.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I came across one of your videos on YouTube. I think the title was how to use addiction to make like an unlimited amount of money or something.
Yeah, yeah. I've
And
got some heat for that title, but had to had to be a little clickbaity, I guess. The
I mean,
content was good at least.
yeah, I think that's the game of YouTube, unfortunately, which I kind of don't like sometimes because I'll be making videos, and even if it's what I want to make, I feel like I have to tailor it
Hmm.
to
Yeah,
appease a certain audience more.
absolutely, bro. I mean, it sucks how it is. You can't hate, the players. It's just the game, right? Because people want to see certain things, and in the algorithm, it works. For the longest time, I couldn't get any subscribers or any views because, just like you, I was posting what I liked, what I thought it was interesting, but the algorithm just didn't like it, even if it was good stuff, right? So you almost have to kind of package it and wrap it in a pretty to see package, if that makes sense, which, it's part of the game, I guess.
Yeah, it's funny. I've tried YouTube a couple different times. My first time and probably like most effort I put into it was like years ago back when, dude, and you said you're like 19, right?
19, yeah.
So you were
Yeah, yeah.
probably in like fucking elementary school when I started on YouTube. I'm 28 by
Really?
the way.
Okay, cool.
Um,
Cool.
but I had a channel back in the day that I was doing like Call of Duty videos and stuff, like pretty much
Oh,
every person my age. Um,
really?
but YouTube was
Gotcha.
just way more kind of like raw back then. Like a lot of the scene was gameplay commentary, so you would just kind of like record a video and like talk something over it. There was no polish to the video or anything like that. There was no like hard
Yeah.
cuts and I'm going to take out all my ums and ands, and people really didn't
Yeah.
care about thumbnails either. It was just like, here's what I made.
More pure for sure. I mean, dude, it's crazy because I think honestly it's coming back that way. It sounds weird. It might sound really like a hot take, but I think it's actually coming back that way. I don't know if you know Sam Stulik. Do you or know of him? Because
That's
I know
funny.
you're kind of in the gym space.
I was actually going to bring that up.
Yeah, yeah. He's from my hometown, so I
Oh,
always bring
really?
him up just to. Yeah, yeah. He's from. I'm from Delaware, Ohio. He's, um, a few years older than I am. His brother, I think, is a year older than me. I graduated from the same high school as him. But his authenticity is crazy, right? Because he has a wonderful physique. He has wonderful, attributes to him. But what really won people over? Because there's tons of guys who are huge in the space, but he was so authentic. It was just the drive to the gym, and then he would eat after the gym, and it felt like you were talking on FaceTime to him, which is, I think it's honestly coming back. Like, I'm happy about it.
I like that trend because I think you lose a lot of the personality of the creator when everything's so polished. You don't get to see
Yeah.
kind of the behind the scenes or more of the thought process. It's like almost that Instagram curated look where like people only post their highlights. They're posting when they're going on vacation and when they're getting promoted or they're out with their
Yeah.
girlfriend or whatever, and you're not getting the like raw look into their life.
Totally. I mean, like, I watched one of your shorts right before I hopped on this, and it was about the AI. You did it. That was sweet, honestly, but it was a little scary. Dude, it was a little scary because that was like you brought back to your real face. I was like, what the heck? Whoa.
Dude,
But like you can polish stuff so easily now.
it's crazy. I think I was like bored on a Saturday and I went down one of those like YouTube or Reddit thread rabbit holes, and
Hmm.
I just like learned how to do it in, a couple hours of, like tweaking through some like Google coding program or whatever.
Yeah,
And
dude.
I was like sending my girlfriend shit. I was like, what celebrity do you like? And I put like Scarlett Johansson's face on there, and then I did it with some other things, and it really made me skeptical of a lot of what I see online because it
Oh
looks
my
so
gosh.
real that I'm like, dude, I don't need like I haven't
Yeah.
been on Tinder in a little bit, but I remember like being on Tinder, like you meet
Yeah,
catfishes, and now that's all like to a new level because
bro,
you
it's
don't even know if
crazy,
it's
dude.
literally a real person anymore.
No, no, even if you did a FaceTime, you would never know until you meet up. So
Yeah.
it is getting scary, honestly. I mean, the fact that you can completely change what you look like to look 10 times hotter or 10 times stronger or 10 times richer. It's crazy. So it's going to be really, really important. And I don't know, from a business standpoint, there's going to be something huge open up with like authenticity verification, with just something. I don't know what it is, but it's going to be huge. It's going to create a market for something because it's going to be needed.
Yeah, I can't foresee like what the trend is right now. I think it's all about the chat GPT and the sillier stuff, but underneath that, someone out there is collecting a lot of data. And
Oh, bro. Yeah. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. I mean, Tesla is just a data company.
yeah,
At the end of the day, it tracks where you drive, it tracks how fast you drive. If you get Tesla insurance, I didn't even know that was a thing until a few days ago. They track in the car how fast you're driving, how fast you're accelerating and braking, a lot of things like that, so they can determine your insurance rate, even the times, because it will charge you more if you drive at night. Like some guy I was talking to online, he said, "Yeah, my Tesla, I can't drive after 10 p.m. or else it will like up my rate double for the month." I was like, "What the hell, dude?
that's
You can't even
crazy.
drive when you want."
Yeah. Yeah, you're literally just living your life on someone else's time, essentially, at that point.
Absolutely. Yeah.
One of the topics I had, I was actually going to make a video on this, and then I was like, no, I'm going on with Scott. I feel like we'll have a good conversation about this. So,
Yeah.
and it's about, because I think you and I are in a lot of the same spaces. Like we talked about fitness a little bit. I think we both
Hmm.
have that sort of innate like self betterment drive where
Oh
we
yeah.
probably like sift through a lot of other people's content. But I was thinking about it, and there's like, I want to say a dark side to the self help movement. And
Absolutely.
I think one, because the people that are peddling, and by people I mean like I'm kind of included in this, and maybe you as well. Like I'm making videos trying to help people, but
Yeah.
I'm not far along enough yet in like the business aspect of it where I have something to sell people. But
Hmm.
the
Yeah.
people like the Iman Ghazis, or
Oh
anyone
yeah.
that's like how to blow up on YouTube, or how to make millions of dollars by the time you're 21, or anything like
Yeah.
that, they're providing a lot of great free content, but at the end of the day, their underlying message is kind of, you are not good enough. Buy what I'm selling you and be better.
Yeah.
And I think, at least for me, I've found myself falling into this trap a lot where I get stuck in this endless loop of learning where it's like, I need to be better. I need to figure out how to wake up in the
Hmm.
morning more efficiently. I need to figure out what supplements I can take that I'm going to be more, dialed in at work. And
Yeah,
it's a
bro.
never ending process, to the point where I'm like, dude, eventually I just need to take action and do it, instead of beating myself up feeling like I'm a shithead.
Yeah, bro. I mean, it's so deep. And just I have very tiny channel, and you're starting to see this already with 20 subs, I think it was. So, I'm not even that far along, and I'm seeing that every single message that's put out is influenced in some way. There's a narrative to each story, each video that's put out, and it doesn't matter what it is. A lot of these big guys, the Iman, the Hamza, they might seem like great guys on camera, but they are trying to tap into the deepest insecurities of young men, of whoever they're speaking to. That's how they get you to pay them. Tapping into the deepest insecurities is what makes you feel. It makes it an emotional purchase, make you feel like you're shit, make you feel like you're not good enough. And then they say, okay, buy this program, buy this community, buy this course to, help you change that, right? Whether it's true or not, that's what they're doing.
Even kind of tying it back to the AI topic from earlier, you don't even know if what they're telling you is true sometimes, when they're saying, oh, I started my business when I was 18, and by the time I was 21, I made $50 million. Like, you don't even know what the story behind the scenes is. Like, they could have gotten a $5 million inheritance from their grandpa that just died, and they used that to build their business, instead of like someone like me. Dude, like, I don't have the capital to put into that to, and I saw another one of your videos where you're like, I started DoorDashing at 16. I saved enough money to,
Yeah,
and I didn't get super deep into like the businesses that you do have, but yeah, you kind of seem like you bootstrapped everything, right?
I had to. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I have a sob story because, I come from a family that, does well, right? I mean, my parents are teachers, my dad's an administrator at a high school. So we were by no means poor, right? But it's not the comfortable that, oh, daddy, can you go buy me, a Mercedes, right? I didn't have that, right? And, money is still a constraint for a lot of things, right? And I saw it, as a kid. So that's why I was like, dude, I can't do this, bro. I have to make a lot of money just because I can't stand to see things in life I can't have, or other people, other experiences that my family can't have, just because of some pointless currency, right? Why can't I just go make a lot of it? So yeah, I had to I had to bootstrap a lot of it, to this day. We're bootstrapping a lot, just zero funds. I was a Door Dasher. I did a lot of landscaping stuff, blue collar stuff, bro. And that's what honestly it takes to get started, because 99% of people don't have that trust fund, right? And to the 1% who do, I mean, good for you, bro. But 99% of us don't have that. So we got to work for what we want.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot of the hustle that people don't want to, everyone wants the outcome, but no one wants to put in the input.
No,
Like, dude, I would love to be the CEO of a billion-dollar company, but do I have the motivation and the willpower to like scale it from $10 to a billion? And
it's hard.
yeah, like you just don't see the work that goes into it. And I you seem like you have a very like formulaic approach to like the way that you live your day. Like you wake up, you go to the gym, you have like those certain hours where you're
Yeah.
getting, business work done or YouTube or school work, and you're like very regimented in that. Do you enjoy that, or is that something that it's just like, this is a means to an end and I have to do this?
Man, I fell deep, deep, deep into the self-improvement space just like probably 2 years ago, because this is when this all started. When I was, or no, maybe 3 years, but when I was 16, I fell into this self-improvement, I guess, trap. But I kind of convinced myself that I like doing all this. I do genuinely like my schedule, or else I wouldn't be doing it, right? So I have it's pretty formulated, right? I wake up, I hit the gym, first thing, I'm into my work. I work pretty much all day until nighttime, and then I do whatever. But do I like it? It's all right. I mean, I kind of have to do it, right? You got to do what you got to do at the end of the day. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. Like, you're not always going to want to do things. And like entrepreneurship, it's made out to be this great thing, but it's lonely, bro. And anyone who's ever started a business will know that for a fact. It's lonely because, there's not really many people you can go talk to who understand what you're going through. It's a lot of people will just think you're crazy, and you might even think you're crazy yourself for a while until it starts working, because it won't work on your first try and it won't work on your second. I had to start doing stuff. I was a drop shipper at like 16. I did a few other different stuff, and finally at 19, I'm finding stuff that works. But 3 years of just not knowing what I wanted to do, my ex-girlfriend thought I was crazy. Seriously, she thought I was crazy. Like, I had all these like business ideas and I just couldn't figure it out. But it really takes a lot more than people want to put into it.
It's tough because there's no guarantee what the outcome of your efforts are going to be. So it's, I can have this goal that I want to have a successful YouTube channel, but I can make 50 videos, 100 videos, 1,000 videos. And if at 1,000 videos, I'm still sitting at, like 20, 25, 200 subscribers, like,
Yeah.
I'm incrementally making progress, but the leverage I'm getting on my time is so minimal that it's like, what, either I'm doing something incredibly wrong or I'm just fucking stupid. And
No.
am I wasting my time or am I investing? And it's hard to know the distinction between that, I think.
Yeah, and I know what you're going through, because, and I'm speaking, really humbly here, but I only have like I'm actually going to close in on 400 tonight subs. But for the first 4 months, it took me to get to 100 subs, and probably close to 40, 50 videos. So it was a grind, dude. Like you said, I felt like, and people told me like, why are you doing that? You can make so much more money doing this, or focusing on this, or just getting a job. I was like, I like doing it, and I know it's going to be worth it someday, right? So to you, um, just keep doing it, and it like, you'll learn what the algorithm wants. I'm not going to act like I would get millions of views, but my last three or four have each gotten over 1,000 or two, which is much improved from what I was at. But it's really just consistency, and eventually you'll learn. You'll be forced to learn because eventually you'll get to a point where it's tiring to make that video every day, even if you love it. It's just, people will tell you, why are you doing this? No one watches. I still get people that say that, but it's just all a grind. And with business and YouTube, anything like that, it takes time. Just like going to the gym, right? You're not going to notice results for the first, you might not notice results for the first three months, right? But when you notice those results, it feels good. So just keep on going, and I promise it will pay off.
And I think that's the important distinction is, am I continuing to do something but tweaking it and fine tuning it over time? Like, I post a handful of videos, none of them work. I kind of take it back to the drawing board. Like, oh, my thumbnails were shit, or, it was boring. The pacing was boring. I got to add more like cool effects or like whatever. And if I keep doing that, eventually I'm refining it and refining it, versus if I'm just continually posting the same thing, expecting a different result. And yeah, I think even since I reached out to you, like maybe a week, 2 weeks ago, like you maybe gained like 50 to 100 subscribers.
Yeah, we're on the up and up, honestly. I'm actually really happy about it. I think since in the last month, we've probably gotten close to 250 of those. So yeah, doing better. So I think I'm finally, learning the process a little bit, but it took 60, 70 videos to do. So, if you can really just have, that just drive to just keep on going and just, like you said, tweaking something different every time. Can my thumbnail improve here? Can I improve the colors? Can I, improve my intro? Can I improve the pacing of the script? If you just keep on working like one little thing at a time, that's what Mr. Beast said, most successful YouTuber. You're gonna be fine. Just it's a number of videos at that point.
Yeah, and it's I think as long as you enjoy the process for the most part, like some of it is a grind, some of it's work. In general, I think my favorite thing to do is edit the videos. Like,
Really?
fine. Yeah, it's funny because I feel like that's a lot of people's least favorite thing to do.
Yeah, that's
But
mine.
I like, being able to tweak little stuff, or like, can I add a different transition or little like thing here or there? That's something I've always been really interested in. But it's and kind of going back to the authenticity versus like the scripted nature. It's like, if you follow the advice of everyone that's making those like how to be successful on YouTube videos, they're like, dude, you got to have a script. You got to, take it down to 20% of what your script was and do this and do that. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to write a fucking script, bro. Like I want to sit there
Yeah.
and have a genuine conversation with someone, or like someone, and feel like it's just like a stream of consciousness almost, and I like
Yeah,
that.
totally.
It seems like that's the direction that people want. They want that realness.
Oh yeah, it's totally turning. Iman, there's a reason. He's really really guru right now, because with his like educate course and whatever. Uh, I don't know if you can hear that. My phone's blowing up for some reason. But it is, he's really changing. I heard him talk on a podcast probably a few months ago. It was a smaller podcast, not many people heard, but he was saying, yeah, I'm really trying to change my content right now. I was, that sit down guy, talking head. I'm really trying to move it to lifestyle stuff because he thinks that's what's going to be huge. People need to see a face that they can trust and see inside their life, right? Because it's just too much, noise now. People have to be able to trust you and see all parts of your life, the good and the bad, when you wake up, what you do, just all of it.
That's what I really like about Alex Hormozy,
Oh yeah.
is he has a lot of great things to say, and he says most of it for either free or like a negligible amount of money.
Oh yeah.
But also, he doesn't glamorize or glorify his process. He's very much like, dude, I live kind of a fucking boring life. Like, I wake up, I work for like the next 8 to 12 hours out of the day. Like, I eat the same bowl of like rice and ground beef for dinner like every single night, and then like I talk to my wife for an hour and then go to bed and do it again the next day. Like,
Yeah. I mean, it's a simple life, man. A lot of people, the people that are really really successful, and what I've seen, they're not living that. that crazy influencer life, the Iman life. There's people out there that do make a lot of money and do all that, and you can obviously have a balanced life. But a lot of those really successful people or just have simple stuff going on. Like the Hormozy, and I like how authentic he is. I'll actually tell you a little bit about what his plan is to make money because he doesn't charge anything,
Yeah.
right? It's or very negligible amounts, but his plan is to give away so much good stuff for free. His company acquisition.com, basically it's like kind of he invests in companies and tries to grow them and takes a stake of it for a longer investment.
Mhm.
Basically, he wants to give away so much good stuff for free, and then in return, in 5, 10 years, maybe some of these guys will be great businessmen, and then they'll go to him to invest, and he can grow his portfolio that way. So I think what he's doing is really good for people, and it's going to eventually work out for himself. He's taking a really good approach. Not just selling a course because I think he did a webinar or something the other day. He said he could have made 50 million, and I absolutely believe him,
Yeah.
which would have been crazy. But he's delaying that gratification, and it'll probably pay off, you know, 10x, what it could have that time. So
It's honestly a genius strategy. He's like watering the seeds for his
absolutely,
future investments. And yeah, he's also someone who has been honest about his struggles too, where, he's like, dude, I did everything the way I was supposed to do it. I went to college and listened to my dad, and I was fucking miserable. And then I dropped out and did what I wanted to do. And I was broke living on my gym floor, not sleeping at night because they were partying in the fucking parking lot or whatever underneath of me.
hmm
And like all those things are just like when people think about how badly they want to be successful, they forget to ask themselves the question, am I willing to do that? Like, am I willing to
yeah,
literally be homeless and risk everything for the chance that this can work? And for most people, the answer is no.
yeah. I mean, people want a lot of people want nice things. A lot of people want the success, but are you willing to do what it takes? Right? There's a fine line, right? Because it's easy to say, yeah, I want the sports car, I want the nice house, I want, all this money, a successful business, whatever it is. It's easy to say you want it, but are you actually willing to go put in 5 years of hard work and not see results until that fifth year? Right. Like you said, Hormozy was on the verge of homelessness, and there's countless other people that drove themselves that far just to, make it work. And a lot of people just they don't want it that bad. And anyone can do it, I think. I don't think anyone's really that much smarter and that much more informed. It's just how bad do you want to play the game and how long do you want to play it for and not give up?
Yeah. So, kind of along those lines, you're at an age where probably all your peers are like out partying and drinking and
Yeah.
hooking up with girls and whatever else, like at least that's how it was in
All
my
the
age.
all
And
the
like,
fun stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
so like how much do you partake in that, or and how much do you sacrifice to be like, maybe I want to do this but I'm not going to because it's counterproductive?
I've honestly had a little bit of a turning point this year because I kind of like was so avoiding of that, the last like year and a half, just because I didn't want to lose focus. And I lose my focus easily. I need to just surround myself just to be like really isolated. Not isolated like lonely, but just like in my mind. I don't have social media. Like I delete it. When I post something on Instagram, I get the app back and I delete it because I just can't. It's seriously, I have an addictive personality. Like I really just need to remove distractions. So, I do occasionally go hang out with friends. I'll go do the fun thing, but it's just when I have the energy to. If I don't have the energy to, I don't force myself. It's just, I have the energy to work a lot of times. And have I gotten hate for it? Absolutely. I'm weird, dude, compared to a lot of people my age. And I mean, I'm not really like, I don't really care because at the end of the day, I'm doing what I like and no one can take that away from me. It's going to pay dividends. So, yeah,
Yeah, I think you can either sacrifice later for now, or you can sacrifice now for later. And it's all about, can I delay the short term gratification to set myself up for the future, or do I want to just fucking go for it now and roll the dice later and see what happens?
yeah, man. I mean, I had the decision this year. because I'm a student at Ohio State. I'm technically taking a full schedule, but I've got it so like online. So I really am doing very, very little work. It's just very taking a small amount of my time. And now I can actually just focus wholeheartedly on the YouTube and the business and really whatever I want to do. But I had the decision, do I want to move into a dorm? And I decided not to. And was it a right decision? I think so. I have some peers that I talk to closer to your age, 28, 29. And they say, yeah, man, just stay out of the dorms. Like you're not missing on that much. It's just I didn't want to sacrifice my focus because I know, if I'm in there at the dorms, I'm gonna be with all the pretty girls. I'm gonna be trying to like hang out with them and go do all this crap. So I really just had to like isolate myself until I'm cool. So, but it's paid dividends so far.
Good. Yeah, I mean, I definitely went that route. I went the route of like, dude, I'm gonna just treat college like a party. And I absolutely did it. And it ended up kind of backfiring on me. Part of my story is I had a pretty bad downward spiral with alcohol. And I
Mhm.
ended up going to rehab and getting sober. I'm coming up on 3 years without a drink or a drug now. So
Well,
that's
good for
kind
you,
of like,
man. That's
thanks.
hard to get over, man. I mean, I know people who have struggled with addiction, not necessarily alcohol, but other drugs. And I salute you to that because
Thanks, bro.
that's hard. I've seen it firsthand.
Yeah, and like I've had to pretty much change the way that I live my life because a lot of it before was like, oh, it's Friday night, I'm gonna go to the bar and gonna go get wasted with my friends, and now it's not something I can really do anymore. So it's like, all right, where do I put my time into now? And
Mm.
the amount of time that it's afforded me to like actually pursue other things, like the gym, like I can eat a proper diet now. I can work out, not be hungover the next day, skip the gym, skip meals. When it's late at night, I can like do work or study, read a book, learn things instead of just wasting time on something I'm not going to forget. And I think there's really a huge movement towards like the sober curious thing, especially coming out of like your generation, where people are kind of realizing like, what's the point of this, dude?
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually glad about it because I think the society is moving in the right direction on that, and I think even though the Hamzas, the Imams, they have intentions behind their information to sell you something, but I think their content for the average person, I think it's really good because the Iman, the Hamza, they might come off as brash or flashy, but it all has a great message behind it, right? Resist drugs, resist alcohol, be a good stand-up person, work hard. It all has a great message behind it, which I think I'm really thankful for, even if it's, in their gain a little bit, but it has to be, right? Who's out here genuinely putting out stuff just to put it out? Like it's almost non-existent.
Yeah, it's impossible to do as much stuff as they do for fun, like you have to try to make some sort of money from it. And I do agree. I think that most of it is good and beneficial. I think not even as a reflection of them or what they're doing, but more as a reflection of like the consumer, of being able to find that balance of like, I do want to improve areas of my life, but at the end of the day, I still have to understand that I'm good enough as I am. And
Yeah.
because you can get caught in that like learning mode where you're never trying, you just feel like you're never good enough. Like if I'm trying to learn how to build a business, instead of taking the jump and building a business, I'm like, no, dude, I got to learn more about tax structures and LLCs and different ways to do this and international business laws. And it's like, all right, well, why don't I just start my business and then I'll figure out what I need to learn next.
Yeah, that's honestly the best way to do it in a lot of cases. Just from the standpoint of, yeah, you might learn a lot by taking courses or joining communities or watching YouTube or videos, but you honestly, in a lot of cases, it's just it's unproductive because you can learn enough, but a lot of people just take it too far. They learn way more than they have to. A lot of times it stops them from actually going out there and doing it. If you just go out there and do it, I'd rather have someone do that than, watch YouTube for 5 days and not do anything, because at the end of the day, you learn fastest by doing. I don't think most people understand that. You learn fastest by doing things, not by sitting and watching someone, by actually being in the field and getting your asses handed to you. Because that's how I learned, right? I learned more than anybody my age could have ever learned with a business degree. I don't like to sound cocky, but 1 week of my business can probably be worth a full business degree in some cases, just from the standpoint of what even goes on behind the scenes. So I think getting out there and just taking the action, it's hard, but it's huge.
It's like when you take 3 or 4 years of Spanish class in high school and then you run into someone that speaks Spanish and you have no idea what to say. Like all the practical like classroom education goes out the window because it's like, dude, I know it, but I don't know how to translate it into what I'm doing.
Yeah, I actually had an experience with that earlier this year. Someone for one of my businesses called me on my phone, and they were speaking Spanish. And I took 3 or 4 years of that, like just like you said, and I couldn't understand a word they were saying. I was like, no, no hablo español or whatever. It's like, what the hell is that all for?
Yeah, man. But then, I have friends that have moved to other countries and within 6 months they're like fluent in the language. It's like, man, I could have really saved myself a lot of time just by like going somewhere else for 6 months.
Just starting. Absolutely.
So how'd you get into the gym? What was your motivation for that?
Girls. Girls all the way, dude.
End conversation.
Just yeah, ended there. But essentially, yeah, I was a really skinny guy growing up, like really, really skinny. Probably one of the skinniest guys you would ever know. And I'm still a skinny guy, but I've got some muscle mass on me now. But it was just out of a standpoint of I was tiny, I was super tiny, and I just wanted to feel bigger, just because I thought the girls would think I was like weak or not want to talk to me. Actually, a girl told me I was too skinny. So I think that was probably one of the driving factors, but I just wanted to put some muscle on. And for the first year, I didn't know what I was doing at all. It was more of me just, I think I was doing bench press like 4 times a week, lat pull downs. I was not doing it right, but I think like we just talked, I started and you learn along the way. I cringed a little bit back up my split, but you learn and it's up from here.
Dude, same exact story. I was always like a real short, real fucking skinny kid. Eventually I got a little bit taller, but I think I would, before I started working out, I was like probably 16, 17, like 5'9" and like 125 pounds or something like that, like in high school. So, and like I couldn't get girls to save my life. I was like, I gotta do whatever I can. And so I started working out and I just like fell in love with it. And it's funny how it goes from, there's still like a sense of that in the back of my mind where I'm like, I want to look good for women. But now it's really just about like how I feel about myself. And, I think it helps with the confidence a lot, but it also just overall like the mental and physical health aspect of it is so great. And coming back to that idea of putting in the work and you don't really know if it's going anywhere, I think the gym is the best way to see the results of the work that you're putting in. Because if I'm working out and following like a relatively strict plan, or I kind of know what I'm eating, like I monitor my protein intake, stuff like that, within weeks or months, like I'll see the physical change, whether I'm trying to cut or bulk up a little bit, and just being able to see those dividends come out, and you don't have to wait 5 years to see if I'm going to make it. Like it's really rewarding, I think.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think it's more of now, like you said, it's just more about the physical health and how you care about yourself. I mean, I will just feel like out of it. I'll just feel, lethargic, or kind of just feel not great about myself if I miss the gym. And it sometimes can come like a little unhealthy, just like, oh, I have to hit the gym or else I won't feel good about myself. But it's a good habit to have. And it can only really, a lot of times when whether it's business or it's going to the gym, you start for external reasons, right? You want to, start business to buy the nice car so you can impress that girl, or you want to start the gym just to get some muscle and some abs so that girl will pay attention to you. Whether it's, whatever it is that starts, a lot of times it's not how you end. That's what I've seen. A lot of times you end up falling in love with the journey and it takes you even further. Because the people who love the journey, it's a lifelong game. So I mean you can take it as far as you really want.
Yeah, I think all the external reasons fall short eventually. You can want to impress other people, whether it's the gym or anything in life. Like I want to make money. It's like I want to make money to impress women or make my parents proud of me or feel cool amongst my friends. But eventually, like none of that is going to be motivation enough unless I actually want to get up and do it myself.
Yeah, I mean that's those reasons really, at least for me, have died out quick. I started, I just was really, really adamant. I wanted the sports car. I really wanted a Corvette, like a 2023, 2024. I really wanted a Corvette just to have, just so I could go and flex on everybody. But, that dies out so quick, right? Because even if you do get that someday, you're going to enjoy it, but it's for the wrong reasons. Because if you can enjoy things for yourself, you're going to be 10 times happier. And I brought this up in one of my podcasts, or it was kind of like a video, but are our desires really ours? You think about it, and not really. A lot of our desires are for external reasons. It's either to make, our parents happy, our girlfriends happy, our friends, proud of us, things like that. So it was really about me earlier this year tapping into my desires, what I wanted. I had to block out the noise. I had to block out the social media, the imams, the people like that, and just think, what do I actually want? Like, I love doing this. So if the money comes, the money comes. But I love the process. I love creating things. I love building businesses, helping people, teaching people. And once I actually doubled down on that, that's when I actually started seeing results. And I'm sure you can say with the gym, right? I mean, it's huge. Once you just start doing it for yourself, you tend to fall in love and go even deeper than you could for external reasons.
Kind of the idea of what is success. Is it what my parents think success is? Is it what society tells me success is? Like, because, if you're talking to someone, you're like, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? You're like, I want to be successful. It's like, well, what does that look like? Society will tell you that you have to be a doctor or a lawyer. Okay, why does that make you successful? Because there's plenty of doctors that aren't good doctors. There's plenty of doctors that hate being a doctor. There's plenty of doctors that still don't get the girl or drive the car or whatever they want. So then it's like, okay, is success about money? Well, I can make money being a plumber or being, dude, I know women that do hair and do eyelashes that make way more money than me. Like, so, but
Yeah, it's crazy.
is that the dream? Like, so is it money, or is it the things that I acquire, or is it just about like, I feel good about the work that I do?
Absolutely. I mean, I think the man who sits on the beach all day, and eats a banana and drinks his wine or whatever, just chills, is homeless on the beach. And if he's happy doing that, being a beach bum, that's cool. I mean, you're just as successful as the guy with the Lambo. That's, same happiness. I think happiness matters as long as as long as your bills are paid, people are taken care of in your life. I think, you're successful enough. I don't think, placing a huge importance on happiness is good, but at the end of the day, it's your life. So you should make it what you want and do what you want, because you only get one of these. And if you live it for external reasons, it's going to be torturous hell. That's what I've felt. And now I do like what I like. So I say what I want and post what I want, and it's better.
Yeah. And whenever I've hit a point in my life where I'm like, well, if I just had this, I would be happy. Then I
Mhm.
eventually get that, and I'm still not happy. It's like, oh, if I just drove a better car, I'd be happy. Or if I just lived in a nicer place, or if I had a bigger TV, I'll be happy. And then it's like, dude, I get the Amazon package, I unbox it, and by the time it's set up, like I'm already like thinking about what the next thing I want to buy is. So none of that actually makes me happy. And if I look back on like a year or two ago, all of the things that I wanted out of my life, I pretty much currently have. Like financially, stuff like that, I could be doing better. But Like I have a job that I would have been super happy with. I have a girlfriend that I would have been super happy with. And I still find myself like, oh, my job sucks. You know, is this the relationship I want to be in? And you just take all these things for granted.
Absolutely. I mean, honestly, man, you've won, right? I mean, as long family's really important to me, and just like having the right people around you, that's huge. Like, I think that's worth more than anything, right? If you can have, a supportive friend group, a supportive wife or girlfriend, and some kids, man, you've won. I think that's the most beautiful thing. The people around you make your situation, and they can make it or break it, right? Because sure, if you have the Lambo, or if you have the private jet, and you have no one to spend the time with in it, what's the point,
Yeah.
right? But if you're just homeless on the street with your boys or whatever, or with your girlfriend, and you guys are madly in love, well, who's really happier? You know, I think it's not more about the possessions. It's more who can you spend the time with doing those things. I think that's bigger.
Yeah. And I think, you know, when I think about success or what I want my future to look like, it's how do I set myself up to like, so I can get to the point that every single day when I wake up, I can do exactly what I want to do that day.
hmm Yeah, I mean, the nice thing about entrepreneurship is, you can make a living off of your passion. A lot of people say, like the Tates, Iman, they say, fuck your passion, do what's practical, and I agree. But as long as you are into some normal stuff, you can make it a thing. The people in the gym space, they make a lot of money, and their passion is the gym, so they ultimately kill it, right? There's a lot of people that can monetize their passion, and if you wake up every day and do what you like, there's no other you know there's no other way to win. I think, if you really don't like work at all and you have to do it to pay the bills, that's why entrepreneurship is nice. It takes a while, it takes a long time to get it running, get it working, find something that works. But, when it pays off eventually, you can take that time. You can take that time to, go spend the time with your wife or with your kids, or, go throw pebbles in the water or whatever you want to do, feed the ducks.
I think sometimes I just try to think about life as being a video game. You know, like I don't play the game so I can try to beat the game, because once I do, it's over. You know, like I'm done. Now I got to find something else to do. Like, and if that was the case, I would just find the easiest, most simple, shortest game and just go out and beat it. But like I like to play the hard games that it's like it requires me to die over and over again and get better and level up and like farm a little bit. And if I can think about my life like that, it's like, dude, if I just do the little things every day, like go to the gym, or, you know, get one or two errands done, or do one thing for my business or my education, read a little bit of a book. Like if I just get that 1% better every single day, eventually it's going to compound. And instead of me sitting here farming levels on like World of Warcraft or whatever people do, like why don't I just go
Yeah.
farm levels outside, dude? Like I can literally do the same thing with my own character.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it's funny enough you brought that up. I actually, like, probably an hour before this, I was eating dinner. I was listening to a podcast that talked about that exact same thing. How it's really honestly nicer to treat life like a video game, like in a non-naive way, because it's serious, but still, you know, treat it like a video game. Level up your character, have fun doing it. That's the reason you like the game. You don't like the game when it's over. You like the game because you enjoy the time you have, playing it. You enjoy the time you put into it, the hours played, the grind it takes, the ups and downs, the people you play it with. I really think you're onto something right there. I do want to get to know a little bit more about you though. Do you have a business right now, or you said you have a job? What do you do?
Yeah, so I actually work in mental health and addiction treatment. So
Oh,
a lot
cool.
of people that are like newly sober, going to like outpatient programming, I work with them. I'm trying to figure out my next move. I'm thinking about maybe pursuing a master's to ultimately become a counselor.
Okay.
And with that, I can kind of pursue, once I get the experience and the resume, like opening up my own practice. Or, dude, you can do therapy from literally anywhere, like the BetterHelp websites, and surely
Yeah.
there's going to be more to come. Like, I can go on a vacation and sit there on the beach and like have a therapy session with a client. And I think that's the goal, like get out of the office, be able to run my own life, like book my own appointments, everything like that.
That would be honestly super cool for you. I know what you're doing, I think you probably feel really fulfilled doing that. Just because you know you're helping people, right? Because you went through that similar thing like you mentioned, and you get to help people doing, similar stuff, which honestly, kudos to you because that's huge. And there's not a lot of people out there that will, take the time and, do that. But that would actually be super cool. Like you said, that that model is super, it's not, I don't want to say scalable, but it's nice because like you can go chill and you can go sit in Bali and hop on a Zoom call with someone and talk and counsel them. So that's, yeah, honestly, bro, that would be sweet.
Yeah, I think that would be cool. It's definitely rewarding. It's also a giant headache sometimes dealing with people. I'm typically more of like an introvert, so I
Mm,
absolutely value like my alone time and like how do I like regroup and relax. So dealing with like a bunch of crazy people all day definitely gets tiring, but
I bet.
it's all part of like a bigger purpose, I think, and it's one of those things that I had no idea the direction I wanted my life to go before I got sober. And then I got sober and I felt like I was like, all right, I have to be able to turn this negative thing into a positive. And like, how do I use this to like fuel my future and like learn and grow from this? Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, seriously, like again, kudos to you because you
Thanks, man.
took that negative in your life and made something of it. Because there's not a lot of people out there that will recognize, yeah, this is shitty, but I can make something, happen from this. I can make positive. I can change my life and I can change others' lives. There's so much more that there's so much more to think about, right? From losses. Because the biggest lessons are learned from losses, not wins.
Absolutely. So I know you're going to school right now. What's like your kind of 5 to 10 year plan looking like?
Funny enough, I actually got asked my 25-year plan the other day. I was like, dude, holy shit.
They need to stay alive.
Dude, yeah, I haven't figured it out for that long, but yeah, 5 to 10 years is gonna be it's out there, but I'm still planning for it. So yeah, for 5 to 10 years, I'm really looking I'm just doubling down on my business and I don't think it's coming from a money standpoint because I know I'll be fine. It's just I like doing it. I really like building stuff. I like, the people I work with. I like the things I do. It's really cool. From a business standpoint, I'll tell you a little more about what I'm doing. Right now, I'll just take this to bring up. Actually, we're launching on my channel something really, really interesting. It's going to be a really cool program that we're actually, renewing, making super, super different. This time, it's going to be huge, pretty crazy thing we're running. We're actually running. I didn't mention what I actually do in my businesses, but I do Amazon private label, and what actually that is. It's a form of e-commerce, but it's basically taking products that are already selling well on Amazon or anywhere else in the world and kind of in a way copying them. It sounds bad, but you can take that energy drink, right, and it tastes amazing and it looks well and sells really well online, and then you go to the manufacturer and create it for cheaper and then just put your own spin and marketing on it. That's what Amazon private label is. So you can become a competitor and just do things a little bit differently and make your own money. So that's what I actually started doing, and we're actually running a service right now where it's a completely done for you. It's actually completely no cost to you and no cost program, which is crazy. But yeah, I won't harp on that much, but it's going to be in the description of my channel where I post this. But yeah, in the 5 to 10 year plan, we're really doubling down on the Amazon private label stuff. On my own end, uh, we're getting into real estate very, very soon, and doing that. But from a life standpoint, I'm just taking it one day at a time. I'm trying to grow as a person every day. In the gym, I'm just really trying to, stay in good shape. I need to do a little more cardio. I'll admit, but the cardio is gonna improve. But yeah, I about a girl or something. I'm just kind of waiting. I'm just not necessarily waiting, but when uh, time is right, and hopefully find a good one. So that's
Yeah.
my plan. I want to, have a nice place to live, have a wonderful girl, and maybe in 10 years I'll have some kids or something. But yeah, looking out that far. How about you?
Yeah, I think dude, absolutely. You're so young and I remember when I was your age thinking that I was so old. And I was like, dude, I gotta, I'm 19, I'm pushing 20, I'm getting into my 20s, and I'm getting to my mid 20s. Now I'm approaching 30. And I just keep looking back like, dude, I thought I was old when I was 20. I thought I was old when I was 25, but like I had so much time to figure things out. There's no reason to like rush and jump into a relationship or settle and feel like I have to like have it all figured out right now. Like I have so much time to like work on myself, reinvent myself over and over if I have to. And I think that's really cool, like, and that's kind of another leg up that you have is on like your peers, because a lot of them are distracted by the things, the materials, the parties, the instant gratification stuff where you're like putting the work in and eventually you're just going to blow right by them.
Man, I appreciate that.
Yeah. And but in regards to like my 10-year plan, like you know, kind of the therapy thing, but also, you know, the personal life, settle down a little bit, get to a place financially that I feel like I can support kids and also, have the time to raise them properly. Like I want to be there for my kids. I want to raise them, like teach them the things that I know instead of just being like, glorified babysitter essentially.
Oh
Um
yeah.
and yeah, man, just I do want to get into like my own private business venture as well, whether that's, some sort of e-commerce company, or that's kind of why I'm starting with the YouTube, like see where I can take this, if there's any, platform I can build upon, and just kind of put some effort into something and see where it goes.
Yeah, man, totally. Totally, totally. I mean, I think a lot of life is as much as you want to plan, it's just going with the flow. That's what I've tried to learn. I mean, what else are you gonna do, right? I mean, you can't really control anything. That's what you can have goals, you can have, try to make those goals each year, each month to make sure things happen. And that's definitely real. But at the end of the day, I mean, you could get hit by a bus tomorrow. So at the end of the day, do what you like, man, because it could be over quicker than you think.
Yeah, I can sit here and make the best decisions with the information that I have, but all the information can be different tomorrow. So, like, do I hedge against uncertainty in the future? Do I just kind of live the way that makes me happy right now? And I think it's just about finding that balance of like, what can I do today that I enjoy today, but also set myself up for tomorrow?
Totally. Yeah, and that balance is huge because a lot of it's really seems in this world it's either one way or the other. Because a lot of people, especially my age, I can just speak from my experience, don't really know what they want to do, and that's completely fine. I don't think you have to know what you necessarily want to do for the rest of your life at 19, because that's, like you said, quite young to be honest. But have a general purpose, maybe, develop those better habits, stop seeking the super short-term gains, right? The dopamine hit on the jewel, or the alcohol or the hookups. I think if people can really switch over from just taking this life as a, such a short-term thing to more of a life or long life game, but still, enjoy it, the process along the way, I think people would be a lot happier. Just because, I'm not a huge, I don't talk a lot about relationships on here, but a lot of people just run around hooking up and, getting drunk and doing all this, hedonistic stuff. At the end of the day, it's not fulfilling. I've done this. I've been through it. I grew up pretty quick, I think a little bit, just because I had older friends. But I think the best fulfillment you can get is just sitting down, doing your own life, having a good family around you, and just building something cool.
Yeah, it's the lack of fulfillment is like, it's crazy because I remember being single for a long time and just, like I want to have all the experiences that I can have, and, this and that. And it's just like, I was just miserable. Like I just kept feeling like I wasn't getting what I wanted out of it. And, now being in a relationship, I'm literally coming up on being in a year-long relationship in like 2 weeks.
Good
And
for
I'm
you.
like, thanks, man. And I'm like looking back and like all the memories that you can make with someone, and like being like, oh, like the kind of the same thing. Like you're building something, you're building a business,
Yeah.
almost like a partnership. It's like, look where we started, how little we knew about each other and, where this was going, and like look at all the things that we've like overcome along the way. It's really cool.
It's so beautiful. And I talk about this stuff and I understand I'm so young. But I also can understand where you're coming from on that because I dated a girl for 4.5 years. I know we were a little younger, so it's a little different, but we still had that same type of thing, right? We grew up together and we dated for 4.5 years. That's a large part of my life. So, building that is huge. I don't think there's nothing more beautiful than just building wonderful relationships with the people in your life, whether it's your male friends, whether it's with the women in your life. I think it's the people in your life are just huge, and that's what I've learned recently. So, man, uh, I do want to ask you one thing because I know you're in the gym a lot.
Yeah.
What is your split?
um I'm gonna be honest, I tweak it a lot because I kind of get like a little bit of ADD when it comes to that. Um Also, so two things. I've made way more progress in way less time when I actually follow a routine, like straight up like track every single rep and lift that I do. Um
Oh, okay. Yeah, I used
because
to do that.
yeah, I definitely recommend it to you and to everybody else because a lot of times, even though I know what I'm doing, like I'm a personal trainer, I've been working out for like, on and off 10 years. Um, it's still the accountability factor for one of like, if I wake up one day and I'm kind of sluggish, like I don't feel like I have as much energy, like I'm going to go into the gym and whether I intentionally do it or unintentionally do it, I'm going to half-ass that workout. Like I'm either going to pick and choose my exercises because dude, like I don't feel like, leg pressing 450 pounds today.
Oh, Lord.
I'm gonna do leg extensions instead to start off. Or, I don't feel like benching. I'm just gonna do a bunch of cable flies. Um, so reading like the paper or the app or the notebook, whatever you carry in there, makes me realize like, okay, here's what I did last time. Here's what I need to do today to be better today than I was last time. And you're not always gonna hit it, but it helps you psychologically get that extra motivation that you need to push those reps out or to push the weight. Because if I'm putting 165 on the bar and I realize that I did 175 last week, I'm like, oh fuck, I'm being a bitch right now. I got to do it.
It's on paper,
Um,
yeah.
that being said, overall, my favorite routine is definitely push pull legs. That's the one I always come back to. I think it just makes so much sense. You can hit everything twice a week if you need to. They all kind of synergistically work together. So I like that a lot as opposed to I've tried the full body, 3, 4, 5 times a week before. And it's just
Mhm.
so there's this friction that occurs when it's like I'm gonna go from bench press to rows and now I'm gonna squat. Like you have to almost start over your entire workout to like get into the flow of the new body part that you're doing. Whereas if I just go warm
Yeah.
up for a push day, I'm good to go. I've already greased the wheels and I can jump right into it.
Yeah, I totally agree. You're bringing up something interesting. I need to start tracking my stuff again. I used to do that. I used to lift at a like kind of it was like my trainer's house. He would be really really good about that. I would that's where I saw the most strength. But you know, kind of recently I've kind of realized I just been going to go get a pump, not really like push myself, which I honestly I think a lot of people fall victim to, but I have included. So I need to push myself probably a little harder in the gym. But yeah, my splits. A lot of people say push pull legs is nice. I haven't tried it. I don't. I think I'm knowledgeable in the gym. I just don't know much how to do that. I hit a weird split. I hit legs on Monday. I hit chest on Tuesday. Legs again on Wednesday. Thursday I hit arm or bis and tries, and then Friday I'll hit back and shoulders. So I
Okay.
have a really little different thing going on, but I hit every muscle part at least once. Calves every day.
There you go. How are the calves looking?
Better, better. I had the worst calves. Like I was so salty. That's honestly, this is actually one of the reasons I started working out. Some girl told me like eighth grade that I had girl calves. I was like, oh, my old girlfriend. She said I had the skinniest legs. I was like, man, and the legs were just, oh yeah. one of the things I actually wanted to grow the worst, but recently I've been chilling on the legs a little bit because I hurt my back so bad, leg pressing for some reason. Shouldn't have happened. Or not leg pressing. I was a hack squat. Hack squat.
Mm.
Um, makes no sense, but I did, and I'm good now. I just been a little bitch.
Yeah, I've kind of cooled it on some different stuff. Like when I was younger, I would squat super heavy, deadlift, and like I got a bad back. Um, I'm getting to the point where like I'm risking injury if I try to be a hero in the gym. So I'm like, all right, dude, like could I put a little bit more size on my legs if I barbell squatted instead of like leg pressed and use the hack squat or V squat machine? Like, yeah, but do I want to be in pain all the time? Like, not really. So
Yeah,
it's kind of like making those little adjustments. And it's funny you say that. I think someone like I was really lazy about doing legs for a while, and someone like one of my friends who would just one of those friends that you're always just giving each other shit. He's like one day we're outside and he's like, oh yeah, well, why am I gonna listen to you with the fucking chicken legs? And I was just like, from then on I was like, dude, I'm going hard on legs, I don't care. um
yeah.
but actually you
It
reminded me of something, that idea we touched on earlier of like getting stuck in that learning pattern. I think that applies to fitness advice a lot,
it
where
absolutely does.
there's this fluctuation in the industry. Like right now, the Mike Mentzer thing's really popular of like do fewer sets but push every set to like absolute failure, as opposed to like
Hmm.
the higher volume, like dial it down a little bit approach. And it just keeps ping ponging between this idea. And I think people get paralyzed by this like concept of like, I'm not sure which the right one is, so I'm just kind of gonna wait and see and then do something.
Yeah, I think too much information at times can be more harmful than what I've seen. It's just going about starting because I think a lot of people think they're gonna like embarrass themselves. What I've seen, the gym community's dope in general. There's like a few dickheads, but like where I am, I think everyone's super supportive, and I
Yeah.
think I can respect anyone who starts at the gym, no matter how overweight or underweight you are. I mean, everyone starts at a similar place, right? It's where you end up, not where you start. So, I think overanalyzing things just is the killer of future success. Just go out, go in there, embarrass yourself, learn the hard way. A big guy might come up to you and fix your form, but that's the worst that happens, and you learn it.
Yeah, doing something is definitely going to get you more results than doing nothing. Like it doesn't matter if your program isn't optimized for like the perfect number of sets or reps per week, or you're not going up in weight or tracking your calories. Like do something and you will absolutely see more results than you are now.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly went into that kind of analysis paralysis with the gym earlier this year. I was still going, but I was like super, super like in my mind about it. Like I was like, am I pushing myself hard enough? Which is good, but I was like really stressing myself out because I was like seeing this Sam Sulik guy, bro, from my town. He's big as shit. Obviously, he's juicing and whatever. I don't mean to slander him, but he is. But dude, he was like making his nervous system fail every set. I was like, should I be pushing myself like this? This is crazy. And I kind of learned a happy medium, but lower.
Yeah, it's tough because for a long time the narrative was like don't go to failure. It's overkill. You're going to tax your body. You can't recover from it. So then everyone, like kind of myself included, like backed off, like all right, I'll go like 2 reps shy of failure. But then you kind of forget what failure actually is, and then when you push yourself to failure, you're like, oh wait, I was actually like 5 or 6 reps short of failure. Like I've kind of been like taking the easy way out this whole time. So I think it is important to like totally push yourself every once in a while to just see what that feels like, and then you can
Oh
kind
yeah.
of go from there.
Yeah, I did see that because I usually work out alone, but I worked out with a friend. I think it's probably a month ago. But I was pushing way more weight, and this guy's weaker than me, but he was like just pushing me, and he knew I was stronger than I was actually putting out. It's just I was always is up here. It's
Yep.
all it was. Like I wasn't actually pushing myself that hard. I think that's why gym partners, from accountability standpoint and just like pushing yourself, it's really huge. I've never had one, but when I do work out with friends, it's just different, I think.
Yeah, if you can find someone like when I first got into it, me and my buddy got into it at the same time in high school, and we would go to the gym every day after school and like do the same routine. And like because we started around the same time, we had similar physiques. We were able to kind of, like leapfrog each other in different things, and that was really cool. On the flip side of that, I absolutely hate training with people if they have no idea what they're doing or like trying to do
Oh,
something
yeah.
completely different. Because then I'm just like, I feel like I'm like the parent of a toddler, just being like, no, you don't do this. Don't like you're doing it wrong. Like,
It's annoying. Yeah. I mean, I hate bringing this up and I sound probably bad saying this, but like a lot of guys will go train with their girlfriends. That's cool if you guys work together well, but I just couldn't do it. It's just I can't work out with really anybody, but I with my girlfriend, I don't know, it's just a little bit of a different lifting experience, I think.
yeah, I do legs every so often with my girlfriend. It's really the only thing that she's interested in doing. Like, she's not a huge gym person. And we'll
Yeah.
do like two exercises, and she's like, okay, we're done. And I'm like, no,
We're
we're
just
like
starting.
30. Yeah, so she'll like tap out, and then I don't want to make her sit there. So then I'll tap out shortly after. So it definitely compromises my workout, but it's like, you know, I, if it makes her happy, I'll do it every once in a while. I can sacrifice some leg gains, I guess, right?
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, happy wife, happy life. Right.
Yep.
So gotta keep the girl happy. But yeah, for
But
sure, man.
no, it is cool helping other people out in the gym. Like, I do have some personal training clients on the side, or just like I'll have friends that come to me for tips. And I was a general manager of an LA Fitness for a little
Okay.
bit. So like it's really cool going in there, and like I know like everyone that goes there now. So like I just shoot the shit a lot. It really is a culture, it's a community. And I think a lot of people get the wrong idea about it. Like, oh, people are gonna judge me the second I walk in the door. It's like, no,
Uh,
everyone here is here to change something about themselves, and you are no different.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. I think once you just kind of realize no one actually cares, like it's almost sounds bad saying that, but like no one actually truly cares about your life, right? But you're the only one who should really care about your life. Who else is going to care for it? So, I mean, once you realize that, you won't be scared to fail because I'm sure a lot of people don't really care about, what they think or like what themselves think. It's what other people think of them. So once you realize people really don't actually care that much, then you'll kind of feel free to do, and try new things.
The thing is, almost everybody has this idea of everyone else is looking at me and judging me. But when we're all thinking that way, we're too busy living on our own heads to actually care what anybody else is doing.
I've actually never heard anyone put it that way, but you're right. That's actually really interesting. Yeah,
Like when
I'll
I'm
take
walking down
that.
the street and I'm like, dude, I hope no one's like judging my outfit or the way I'm walking or something like that. The guy across the street is probably thinking the same thing. So neither one of us is thinking about the other person.
Everyone's just like, it's just a mess in their head, and like no one actually knows what's going on, bro. Yeah, literally,
Yeah.
it's crazy. All right, man. I think we're ending things here. I think we're running out of time, but man, it was a pleasure. I'm really, really happy you had me come on. I appreciate the invite. And
Yeah,
was
dude.
this your first podcast?
Yeah, I did. I used to have like a shit show of a podcast with my buddy during COVID. We would just talk about dumb stuff. But this is like my first legitimate podcast that I'm doing like on this channel. And I think it went really well. It was cool. Yeah, I came across your video and I was like, it's funny actually. You had a couple comments on that video that they were like, yeah, dude, you're gonna blow up. Like you're killing it. And I
I
saw
hope
like
so.
you were someone that I would have thought had a lot more subscribers than you did, which I think is a great thing. Um, because it means you're gonna get there eventually. So I was like, yeah, like let me reach out to this guy. We have similar interests in mind, it seems like, and it's been cool to connect with you, man.
Oh man, it truly I appreciate the invite. I'm happy to be a part of one of your first podcasts on this channel. It was a true honor. You're actually one of my first podcasts I've ever actually done with someone else. So it's really
Awesome.
cool that we got to connect. And yeah, dude, I appreciate the invite. It was super cool talking, and glad we have similar views.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on. Stay in touch.
All right, man. Thank you very much.